With the Nixie spacebar, I am actually excited for this board though. I think the price point is good. It starts at $189 for the blackout version. Actually, you know what? Let's just jump right into it. This is a prototype stream, so there's going to be little things that are going to be changing. Just a little FYI. I'm also not keeping this board, just so you guys know too. This is Canning Keys board. Mounting wise, it is pretty much. I mean, like, it is an interesting mounting style. It's usually just using pour-on dampeners, and then it's using a nylon alignment pin. Plate screws into the bottom of the case, and the top case is connected to the bottom. It's using magnets. I think this is somewhat similar to how Canning Keys does some of their mounting, but maybe we'll see if it's a little bit different today, because I actually haven't seen anyone put the mounting together yet. This is... oh god, the magnets are not as strong as I thought of this. Is this particular unit not as strong? Yeah, this one here, the magnets did not feel very strong. But I think this particular one, if I'm not incorrect, has... hold on one second. This magnet is here. Yeah, I'm missing a magnet. That's why it fell, because the magnets aren't on places here. I mean, it's a prototype. I'll leave it at that. The magnets are half a magnet here. I'm missing a whole magnet up here. Yeah, it seems like it got broken. It could be covered in the notes. We used Elmer's glue to put the magnets in, so I guess they fell out. It's okay. They did let us know that. I just would expect it to see half the magnets still here. It's okay. Stream canceled. It's fine. But I can't lift it up because it's only using 1.5 magnets right now. Some notes. I think this might be important for now. So, additional notes regarding the magnets. Basically, they're going to be installed differently during the production, which I hope. Magnets are also not final in terms of design, strength, and placement and everything. Really nice color, though. So, magnets aside, we'll leave the broken magnets here. Magnets aside, I think this actually is a really nice color and a really nice overall shape. I do like the brass internals. Now, I do want to point something out because we'll take a look at the page here. It starts at $189, but this is just the blackout edition. And I want to point this out in case someone sees this and is like, damn, the blackout edition is all aluminum. I think realistically what you're probably going to be looking at are these. These are $220, and this is the ones that have the brass internal at the very least. And you can see all of that when you scroll down to the bottom over here, and it tells you what's what. So this is ANO everything. This one here is brass internal weight, and then as you scroll down, things change and prices will change as well depending on which ones you get. Price points are as follows. All aluminum is $190. $220 for any of the brass internal, and then the LE, which is all brass outside and inside weights, this is $260. So this does cap out about $260 for the wired solder unit, and then the wired hot swap unit's $5 more, and the wireless version is $15 more compared to the original price here. There's going to be extra plates, which is awesome. We love to see that. The plates seemed well priced, which is good to see. Let's take a closer look at some of the aesthetics of the board. I'm going to go ahead and just hold this as tightly as I possibly can. With the side profile is a box-on wedge with a little bit of a flare over here, kind of tapers down a little bit. It's nice. It's a nice little accented side profile over here, so this is nice. The back of the keyboard does have the 2 USB slots. I think this is pretty standard these days because I believe this is designed by, is this AKB? Who did this one here? James? Very, very cool. A little bit of a recessed USB-C port. Also very, very pretty. We like that. I mean, you can even say this is quite recessed too, so you won't see any of the silver parts of your USB, somewhat. The bottom of this keyboard, I think, has a nice little bit of a look to it. I think this is pretty. And then you have the Canning Keys logo and the Vida logo again. Now, Canning Keys has been hiding their logos on the inside on a lot of more recent boards. I appreciate that. I'm not saying the Canning Keys logo is bad. It's actually kind of cool. But I will say it's nice to see limited branding being plastered everywhere on the keyboards. And it's a small little detail, but for me it goes a long way. But I appreciate Canning Keys for just hiding it on the inside. It's nice. We've been hiding them or putting them in unobvious places recently. I really appreciate that, by the way. But for $220 for the brass internal, because that's, I mean, technically this is considered the $260 version right now because we have the brass bottom. Let's see what this is going to measure, because it does have a small little lip on the front, which I really appreciate as well. So to the front lip, it's 15.8. And if we go past the front lip, it is going to be 18.9. With the feet, You're looking at about 20, but we don't usually include the feet on our things here because they kind of sink in a little bit on certain desk pads. Comfortable front height, I appreciate that. And then let's take this off here. So on this particular unit, again, we're just missing a bunch of weights, and then the weights are also broken, so let's just not pay attention to that right now. Again, Anno looks good on this. I see a few little scuffs, but I'm chalking this up to this being a prototype as well and having been handled by other people. I'm guessing these are already been pre-installed, but these are these little pour-on gaskets that sit on the bottom. We also have some force brake. Okay, so these feel a bit firmer and they're not really compressing as much as the other ones did. Oh, it's to help it pad. Oh, so this is not really a force brake. This is to help pad the closing. I see. But these are definitely a bit firmer. So these shouldn't sink past the recessed lip as much as easy as some of the other ones have. So I appreciate the difference in material here. Because previously I've commented on some of these where the recessed force brake, so this is not really considered a force brake, but we'll just call it because it does the same thing anyways. Usually these are like a squishy or a pour-on, less dense foam, but these definitely feel more dense, and I don't see these. Yeah, these probably are not going to go past that. These are the new Revere spec ones. I appreciate that. I'm glad you listened to the criticism there. Really, really glad. And I guess these are the alignment pins. So the alignment pins go here. Cool. So alignment pins on the side. I have a love-hate relationship with alignment pins, so let's see how well these fit in. Oh, these fit in beautifully. Damn, these are nice. There's limited wiggle, not even any really, with these. Perfect. Love to see that. Let's take a look underneath our weights as well. Little note here. I really, really like the fact that the screws just pass through. This is a cute little thing over here. Just in case you happen to want to tighten one of these things up. I really like that. Small little detail, but I think that matters a lot. The layout for all of this is really clean. I think this has to be one of the cleaner internals I've seen for how all these parts kind of work. Fairly easy to take off too. I like the fact that, small little note here, I like the fact that you can actually just, even with both weights on, just use your finger to grab them up. You don't have to like turn over the keyboard and flip them all. So that's quite nice too from an assembly standpoint. Very nice. We have our daughter board attached to the other daughter board over here, or other PCB for our USBs. Cool. And they're green. Hell yeah. Pretty straightforward to me. Even the stepped part where the connector is. The other opening is for the battery on this side here. Yeah. Which we don't have the battery here today, by the way. Actually, Upos, quick question. Do you guys supply the battery with the wireless option? We do? Awesome. Let's take a look at the PCB. Now, I'm going to be honest. FR4 is not my first choice, as usual. But they do have other plates. What are the prices for all the plates again? I know I just looked at that, but... Plates, aluminum is going to be 40. Aluminum is a little high. FR4 is 25, PC is 30, and then carbon fiber is 40. You're going to have, I mean, you can pick, I guess, a default plate, choice of a different plate here. Aluminum is going to be an additional $9. I would personally probably go with an aluminum plate for this, if I'm being honest. Lots of options. This is great. This is fantastic. I like seeing this. We get tons of different options for the bottom. Well, 2 different options for the bottom. We get our split right. Surprised there's no ISO on this because you do have split right. We have, or sorry, I guess you need split left. Well, still, I'm even happy you get split right, split backspace, and then you also get a step caps, which lots of compatibility with this. Very, very solid PCB so far. Do you guys want HMX switches or these Haimu Pastels? These I'm actually super curious about. These sound like they're going to be really nice. Why am I blind and I can't? Oh my god, it's right here. Blends in with everything. Now, Upos, do you recommend screwing this in and stopping when I feel a little bit of pressure, or should I go in a little bit more? I've gone down a bit to compress the gaskets a little, but not super screwed in. It's always down to preference. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'll stop right as I'm starting to feel some pressure here and see how this feels. So I really like this combination. Now, I'm hearing a lot of emptiness, but let me see if it's something to do with these alignment pins, because I feel like something's echoing off the top case here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's not that. So I wonder, let's ease up on the compression of these. Kind of curious to see what if I just remove certain screws. Not for nothing. Okay, with the screws removed, Sounds solid. And this is even with the plate that I normally don't love. Yeah, it's caught in the top case. I can't get it out now. I'm just gonna play around with what to actually screw down here. But I'm also curious, what if we just remove all the screws? Like, technically, I feel like we can do that. Honestly, not a bad sound considering. Yeah, let's put the screws back in the way it is intended, and let's go from there, because I actually don't think I like the screws in this board. And maybe it's just a plate thing, but I'm going just until I feel pressure to stop. No, what's happening is the pin on the right side, and these magnets definitely feel pretty strong. This pin is a little bit stuck on the top frame, so it's not lifting out nicely. But again, this is a very, very early, I think I don't even remember what they called this number, like a V.2. Let's actually just screw that in, just the 4 corners. With the screws, it sounds too metallic-y. I don't love the screws. And maybe this is an FR4 specific thing. Obviously, I can't test it. Because let's take this off and unscrew it again just to show. There's a lot of resonance coming through with the screws. I would probably get a plastic plate, like a PC plate on this. I feel like this is going to be the same vibe as like a top mount at this point here, where you're going to want something that's not going to resonate a lot, because it definitely feels a bit like a top mount. And then when we lay it on the gasket, I know we didn't plug in the cable. All that metallic-iness goes right away. And that's with no screws. And this is where it actually sounds really good. So nice. Even with the FR4 plate, I think that sounds really good. And it does sit pretty low anyways, so I don't know, I wouldn't even bother with the screws. Yeah, the board without the screws on this particular plate sounds really good. Without the screws, but let's remove even this. Let's pull out a Nixie. Okay, with the Nixie spacebar, I would definitely go with the $220 version of this to at least get the brass internal. Yeah, again, I don't know if I'd screw down the plate if it wasn't like a PC plate. Even the aluminum, I would even suggest just like leaving it off. You know what else could be really cool for this board? I think even the inclusion, if you were to do some sort of silicone gasket that sits on top of this, kind of like a gasket sock, in conjunction with having this as like a secondary mount, you could technically get 2 mounting styles out of this. And that would also eliminate this if you had the gasket sock too. That way there you can either choose bottom mount or you can choose the gasket sock. That would be very, very cool, basically. I mean, otherwise, here's my thought process with this. It's a nice looking keyboard. Even the top frame is very simple. You have the small little cherry lip on the side over here. It has a decent little side profile. It also has a rather low front height, which is great. We love to see it. Again, that little cherry lip helps a lot and also makes the board a smidge more comfortable. It's not super pronounced and extended out, but I think it's nice. This particular one has a brass bottom, but you won't get a brass if you go with like the mid versions or the blackout version. It also has a brass internal. It's a nice looking keyboard. Even at 220 bucks, I think it's a pretty decent priced keyboard here. Some things that are going to be changing, obviously these broke on these 2 sides. These are 3D printed ones. They're not going to be 3D printed. The magnets, we have broken ones. They shouldn't be broken on the final product. Overall though, I don't know how I feel about the bottom with the FR4. I'm also a little biased because I also really just don't care for FR4 plates that much. I think it depends on the keyboard. But believe it or not, when we took off the screws, it sounds pretty good. Just in case you guys are curious, this has USB slots in the back. To clarify, in wireless mode, You cannot use these USB ports for anything. In wired mode, then the USB ports can be used. I already know Upasa is making a whole bunch of changes for this board here. So for example, these won't be 3D printed, the magnets will be better. The overall aesthetic of the board I think is nice. It's very simple, elegant. I think James always does a good job designing keyboards. I'm a big fan. Feels like a nice keyboard. It even has a very comfortable front lip. Love it. Looks elegant. I think the inclusion of USBs when in wired mode at the very least is handy. I think you'll appreciate this. I think the price point of this is super solid at $220. If you don't care for sound profile at all and don't care for weight of the keyboard, you can get it for $189. Which, again, for what it offers, super solid. 15 bucks extra for wireless. I mean, at that point there, I feel like it's sort of a no-brainer, and I would personally do it. Like, I feel like that's a good choice. Here's the back of the board again with the 2 USB slots. Don't expect 3.0 transfer speeds out of this, guys. This looks like 2.0 slots, and I'm pretty positive they're 2.0s. I think Canon Keys has a winner. IMO, I kind of like this better than the Bakeneko Go. Just ever so slightly. I feel like this is a more premium version of something with wireless compatibility, with a decent battery life, and USB ports if you want to use wired. I think this is like sort of the upgraded Bakeneko Go. Talk to you guys later. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Bye, everybody, and love ya.